Donald Trump doesn't bluff. He's now setting a new red line, showing his enemies that he is not weak, like his predecessor, Barack Hussein Obama. Martin Leal for the Conservative Tribune now reports that back during the Obama administration, the president set a red line against the Assad regime, stating that Syria, if they cross it, well, there would be repercussions, namely if they use chemical weapons. Well, the Assad regime, they crossed it, and Obama did nothing. They state here that when Assad used chemical weapons on his own people, again, earlier this spring, President Trump did not respond weakly. Instead, he quickly struck at a key Syrian airfield. They say here that the strike on the airbase demonstrated to the Assad regime that there was a new proverbial sheriff in town, and he wasn't going to deal with their transgressions lightly. Now, you can imagine that this had Bashar al-Assad and his multitude of people somewhat closely listening to the White House when he promised that any further use of chemical weapons will be met with a similar display of force. According to the Hill, Press Secretary Sean Spicer set the new red line in a statement on Monday after he said the United States had, quote, identified potential preparations for another chemical weapon attack by the Assad regime. They say here, quote, the activities are similar to preparations made by the regime just before April 14th, 2017, in that chemical weapons attack, Spicer noted in the statement. They also added that chemical weapons attack would likely result in the mass murder of civilians, including innocent children. The press secretary closed with a warning to Assad and his regime should they decide to cross that red line. He said, quote, as we have previously stated, the United States is in Syria to eliminate the Islamic State of Iraq in Syria. That is the closing statement. If, however, Mr. Assad conducts another mass murder using chemical weapons, he and his military will pay a heavy price. So, what will that price be? We do not know. And is Assad willing to cross that line? Let's hope not. So, comment below, subscribe for updates. If you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up and share this. More breaking news now. Donald Trump just unleashed the Trump card that will have Hillary hanging her head in shame. Stacey Law, Liberty Writers News, reports that President Trump is very proud of his win of the United States presidency. Of course, we patriots are proud of him too, but it's been almost 8 months since he was legitimately elected president, and there are still people saying, well, he's not my president, and that, well, he didn't win the popular vote and Hillary did. Well, if you are a United States citizen, I hate to break it to you, yeah, he is your president, like it or not. Just like Obama, well, he was my president for 8 years. I had to endure the crimes of his administration, and personally I have to say, thank God Hillary lost. Well, now Donald Trump taking action to ensure the integrity of our election process. Right? Everyone's so concerned that the Russians can hack this and Russians can hack that. Everyone's so concerned about the integrity of the election. Even Hillary Clinton said, if you don't abide by the results of the election, well, that's a travesty of democracy, even though she ignores that reality. So, now, Donald Trump, he is launching a commission on election integrity. He sent a letter to all 50 states asking for publicly available information on their voters. All 50 states, publicly available information on the voters. All right. Now, according to The Hill, they state here, quote, Jason Kander, the head of the Democratic National Committee's Commission on Protecting American Democracy from the Trump administration, blasted the letter in a statement calling it very concerning. Well, I don't understand. Why would Democrats be concerned about election integrity? I mean, we're so concerned about the Russians hacking everything. We should be like, hey, let's come together and preserve our democracy. But yet, now you have Democrats calling Trump's concerns to preserve the integrity of the vote concerning. Interesting, isn't that? They write here the Democratic National Committee's Commission on Protecting American Democracy from the Trump administration. Yeah, that's the name of that organization. So Vice President Pence, he's chair of Trump's Commission on Election Integrity, and it's very clear Pence is a man of integrity. In fact, he said the commission intends to protect and preserve the principle of one person, one vote. Yeah, Democrats hate that. Because, why? Vote early, vote often, right? That's the mantra for the Democrat Party. Even if you're dead, you get a vote, right? So, of course, Democrats would be very nervous one person, one vote. So what the real question is, what are they afraid of? Okay? The commission only requested publicly available information. Okay? Everything that's open record, open source information on voters. So they're going to go through the voter rolls, they're going to clean out the dead people and the illegals so we can have a fair, open, and honest election. Right? Remember that story we did a couple weeks ago about what they say? They found that, what was it, 5 million illegals voted for Obama in 2008? And then there was the other story we did just after the election that said about 3 million illegals voted in this past election as well. So if you support Donald Trump's efforts for election integrity, vote integrity, and doing away with voter fraud from the Democrats and the Republicans. I'm not going to say it's just a Democrat issue. I'm sure there are Republicans, dirty Republicans out there too. All right? But if you're supporting of this effort, you're tired of it, and you're tired of people saying he's not my president, share this report everywhere. Trump needs your support, America needs your support, and our democracy is at stake. So comment below, subscribe for updates. We'll see you at the next report.
This is a breaking news alert.
Oh boy, wait till you see the clip we're about to show you. Last night, John Podesta getting his ass handed to him on live television. My friends, he is on the ropes, triggered. Oh man, total defense. Christine Lally, a Gateway Pundit, reports at Fox News, Maria Bartiromo. She invited the former Hillary Clinton campaign chair John Podesta as a guest to discuss his Wednesday closed-door session with the House panel. They write here that Bartiromo did not disappoint, and that is 100% true. She slammed Podesta on his ties to the Russians. She also brought up how the Democrats have stronger ties to the Russians than the Republicans even do. Podesta visibly rattled and shaken as he struggled to defend his position. If you haven't seen it yet, we'll play it for you now. If you've seen it already, watch it again. This is what we've been waiting for. Take a look.
Do you find it odd that there's been so much attention on the Trump campaign and the Trump associates and potential collusion with Russians when, in fact, it's really the Democrats who have deeper and stronger ties to Russia? I mean, John, I've got to ask you about your own situation, your ties to Russian entities. You joined the board of a small energy company in 2011. 2 months later, a Russian entity directly funded by the Kremlin invested $35 million in the company. You were given 75,000 shares in a Russian company, which you failed to disclose when you became an Obama associate.
Maria, that's not true. I fully disclosed and was completely compliant with. And by the way, I divested before I went into the White House.
But where did you divest it, John? A lot of people feel like you divested it to your adult children.
I divested it consistent with the advice that I was given by the White House counsel's office, and I was fully compliant and fully transparent about what I had done. And so the fact that you're picking through my emails that were stolen by the Russians and released by WikiLeaks, and creating a story which is not true, is something that we have to deal with. So you weren't given 75,000 shares of stock in a Russian company? You were not given 75,000 shares? I didn't have any stock in any Russian company. So go back and get your facts straight, Maria. But
that's not true, John. We know that you own 75,000 shares. You're on the board of Joe.
It's not a Russian company. They own less than 5%.
It's backed by the Kremlin.
I didn't own any shares in that company, Maria.
When you stepped off the board, you were given 75,000 shares from Jolie.
That is not true.
How many shares were you given, John?
Maria, I didn't have any shares in any Russian company. I was on the board of an American company that did business here and only here. The Russian company had a small investment in that company. And we can go around and around the tree.
It's widely reported that it's backed by the Kremlin. It's been widely reported that company's been backed by the Kremlin, and they gave you 75,000 shares that you had to disclose when you went into the Obama administration.
Maria, you can keep leveling this charge. It is not true.
Okay.
They didn't give me anything. They had a small investment in a company I was on the board of. It was a clean energy company that was trying to deal with the issue of trying to produce energy, liquid fuel, from a biotechnology process. It was based in Boston. Russian company had a very small investment in it, and you could keep saying that they gave me stock, but they didn't.
I'm just following all the widely reported information here, John.
Well,
there's also Hillary
Maria,
Clinton, obviously.
Maybe you're looking at widely reported information from InfoWars.
No, I'm not.
But it is not
No, I'm not.
true.
This is Politico. This is the New York Times. This is the Wall Street Journal.
No, it's
That's
not.
what I'm looking at, John.
No, it's not,
Then
Maria.
there's Hillary
If you
Clinton. Then there's Hillary Clinton, of course, we know, who got $100 million from Russian companies after she allowed that Russian company to acquire 20% of the U.S.'s uranium. So the point I'm making here, John, is that there's much deeper ties to Russia on the Democratic side than there are on the Republican side. And it's just a head-scratcher that this has been taking all the oxygen out of the room over Trump, when, in fact, it's been your team that has been in bed with the Russians.
Oh, wow. That was something else. Maria Bartiromo, you are my hero. That is how it is done. He was squirming on his seat. That was amazing. Confronted with the truth. BizPac Review picked up on the exchange. They write it took place 2 days after Podesta testified on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election in a closed hearing before the House Intelligence Committee. WikiLeaks also released, as you know, tens of thousands of Podesta's emails, which allegedly came from a Russian hacker. Yes, the Russian narrative continuing to be pushed by John Podesta. Now, that was just a clip. The entire clip was about 10 minutes long. I encourage you to go to the link in the description to see it for yourself. It's a wonderful exchange. Again, my hat is off to Maria Bartiromo. You did it. You nailed him. This scumbag came out of hiding, put himself in front of the camera, and you hammered him. Thank you. Thank you for that. They write here, another Russian connection was involved with Hillary Clinton directly. She authorized a Russian company to acquire 20% of U.S. uranium capacity while she served as Secretary of State and received $100 million from Uranium One, the Russian company that benefited from that transaction. I mean, she hit all the points. His connections to the Russian energy company, Hillary Clinton's connections to Russian uranium. I mean, this was great. This is exactly what we need to see. So let's get this out here. The Democrats claiming that there's collusion between the Russians and Donald Trump, when clearly, all along, this is projection. This is what liberals do. They project their own crimes on you, make you go into defensive posture, and then you're always on the ropes. Well, now they're on the ropes. Maria Bartiromo hit it out of the park and slammed it right in the face of John Podesta. God bless you. All right, comment below with your thoughts, of course. Blast this on social media. Share this around. Everybody needs to see this epic exchange, epic smackdown, really, of John Podesta by Maria Bartiromo.